So today I will be summarizing Optimizes 101 Public Speaking. So we'll start off with the first one, which is Seinfeld, Common Humanity, and Me. This is basically a summary and introduction towards the more advanced rules of the public speaking. Basically, this says that being afraid to speak is common among humans. There are introverted people, there are extroverted people, there are many different types of people. According to Seinfeld's joke, people would rather receive eulogies than give eulogies, highlighting the fact that many people dislike speaking. On to number 2, I'm excited, bring it on, threat versus challenge. So basically it is whenever we're in a stressful or fearful environment, we tend to have this sort of tingling energy inside us. It's like butterflies. So basically, we are to utilize it, use those emotions to your advantage. Similar to how when adrenaline rushes, like it's probably pretty common that you've heard the story of a mother who managed to lift a car just to save her baby who was stuck under there. In any other normal circumstances, she wouldn't have been able to do that. But with the emotions, adrenaline rushing to her, she was able to overcome the obstacle. Threat versus challenge. In any situation where you have an obstacle, you usually view it as a threat, something that you have to dispose of, get rid of. Rather, you might want to look at it as a challenge, something you overcome but also gain something in between. Number 3, it's not about you and one person. Exactly like how this video is being filmed, it's not exactly a me video, it's rather me sending a message, my thoughts on this public speaking 101 thing. So knowing that, it makes it more easier for you to speak on what you're thinking and know that you are a vessel to transmit the message you would want to let the audience know. And also, the one person, meaning that you'd be more inclined to actually speak and give out what you actually know to the audience, knowing that as long as one person enjoys your speech, it already makes you happy. Number 4, connection over perception. As we know, public speaking isn't exactly the only type of speaking that we may be using. Newscasters, actors, they all speak. However, in public speaking, it is about conveying your messages towards the audience. And therefore, if the audience aren't exactly into you, it's difficult for them to get what you would like to say. Meaning that you have to connect with your audience, know what the audience wants, and don't just try to impress them, like be a super, very talented speech giver. Rather make them feel that you are one of them and know what they want from your speech. 5, practice, practice, practice. Growth mindset and enthusiasm. Practice is pretty much the essential thing in all of the things in the world. To master something, you need to know it. And this leads into public speaking as well. Practice in speaking is not just speaking your speech over and over, rather know the entire construct of public speaking. Practice writing a speech. Practice being in front of the crowd. Practice feeling anxious. And then when it comes to the day of your speech, you wouldn't actually only know your speech, but rather know the whole thing, and you'll be able to master it without fear. 6, systematically organize and over-prepare. Doing something requires you to actually carry out something in steps. If you aren't prepared, many things could go wrong. To start strategically organize is to set boundaries and know what you could do. For example, you might want to talk about Thailand, and then you set limits for yourself. Maybe you talk about 10 things about Thailand. Adhere to it, stay around it, but don't exactly strictly stay to it, or you may suffer later on when you have to go out of your bounds. To over-prepare is actually a pretty good thing. It's not putting in too much effort, but rather be prepared for any situation. You'd rather be over-prepared and cut out the unnecessary things rather than be unprepared and have to add jumbled up things into your speech. 7. Energize, you amplified. Giving a speech, it depends on the length, can be tedious and therefore requires you putting effort and energy into it. Prepare yourself as if this was something very important that you'd want to do and not just yee it. Sleep, eat, wake up normally and be prepared to face your speech. 8. Optimize you, presence and charisma. To give a speech in a crowd of people may make you need to stand out, make your presence known to the audience. Well, I know this green t-shirt isn't exactly the best, but you may have an idea. Most speech givers walk around, put out their hands, wears their suit, smiles. It gives them a confidence aura towards the audience, makes them believable, and therefore are more inclined to listen to the speeches. And now we have number 9, whoops, oops, +1. Whoops is actually an abbreviation for wish, which is what you wish to do. For example, give a great speech. Oh, outcome. What would you like the outcome to be? Have an audience be very enlightened by your speech. Maybe an example. Obstacle. What is stopping you? It may be your fear of speech, your stuttering in speaking or so. And P, plan. How do you plan to do all of these? Oops is for mistakes, which is pretty common in anywhere, and it is very unlikely for you to nail every single thing. Therefore, always be prepared to face your mistakes. Overcome it naturally so that you don't come off as unprepared to your audience. Lastly, we have 10. Breathe, smile, and let it rip. This one is a pretty broad subject and it's very dependent on the speech giver. It is the act of doing something in preparation, not exactly, but before giving out a presentation. You do anything to boost your confidence, to make you prepared for giving out a speech. As long as it's not unethical. You could rub your hands, you could puff your chest, you could shout, woo! Or something around that. As long as it gives you confidence and makes you prepared, you should go ahead and do it.